All right, hello everyone, and welcome to this sixth webinar in our series. You've shared your feedback with us continuously, and it served the basis for this presentation. Unlike the previous times when we talked about our products, this time we will share information about rather how instead of what, meaning that we will talk about how we develop our products, how the process of quality assurance goes, and what we do after the release. And to make the presentation more interactive and more fun, it will be delivered by the two men standing behind the development and support processes. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Sergej Derzap, who is the Chief Executive Officer at Amasty, and also Vitaly Kolukshev, who is the Head of Customer Care. All right, so Vitaly, since support is what most our partners deal with directly, I think it makes sense to start with your domain, right?
Yeah, sure. So how do we start?
I think we should talk about the general support process, as in what happens when, let's say, a customer submits a ticket.
So as all advanced customer care processes, our support is split into three tiers. For the tier one, here are where support managers receive requests from our customers. They review it and try to find an immediate solution. If there is no solution, we will pass the request to tiers 2 and 3. For tier 1 option, our customers can approach us in several ways. The first one, you can submit a ticket at our support system. You can do it either from the customer account or directly from the website. You can start a live chat with our support managers. Here we are available during our business hours. And if we are offline, we will convert a chat into a ticket and will reply as usual. You can also dial our phone number. And the last one, you can send a direct email at support@amasty.com. Also, our partners have some dedicated options here, like Slack and their personal account and support managers.
Okay, so that's for tier 1, but what happens on tier 2?
While tier 1 support managers are responsible for consultations, pre-sales, and in general for the communication between support and partners, tiers 2 and 3 are troubleshooters. Tier 2 is the team 911, as we call them, yeah. And here, the group of developers review issues, they troubleshoot it and try to debug. Also here, we evaluate options for custom development. And it is also important to mention that developers here do not have a direct contact to the client.
Okay, so that's still done on tier 1.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so, but okay, you just said that troubleshooting is done on tier 2, but then, yeah. I mean, like, tier 3, do they have any work left?
Yes, they have some work as well. Some cases cannot be resolved within the support department. And because some of the issues are related to the deep module customization, and we need some help from the tier 2, yeah. Tier 3, yeah. yeah. And in this case, when we do not have a solution in the support department, we will escalate this request to the tier 3. It is actual product development team who review the issue and try to find any solution of that. It is also important to mention that the product development team is outside the support domain.
Mm-hmm. So it's the actual product development team?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so let's say tier 2 or 3 have found a solution for a specific case. What happens next? I mean, is it added to the product, or what does?
Oh, no, always. The thing is that the decision of whether a certain fix or the issue is going to be added to the next release is always made by the product management team. And there are many factors affecting their decision. And the most important one is the frequency of the request. So if we receive many requests for the same item, it is also a signal for us what market requires. However, depending on the current roadmap, it may take some time to release a certain update which will include certain features and certain things.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so as we've touched upon the development process, I think, Sergey, we should talk a bit more about how the actual development goes. What happens from the conception to the actual delivery?
Okay, so let's start. And as usually, we're going to start with an idea.
Right.
And as Vitaly rightly mentioned, very often we have a lot of ideas coming from support from our customers when they're saying that, okay, your extension is nice, but we're missing some features. And then we have very nice thing to work on. And this is like, let's say, way one. Way two, it could be somewhere else in the company when people are saying, wow, we have this nice module, let's add something to it. And like way three is when our product team analyzes like trends on the market and saying, okay, like e-commerce is evolving, and now we need to add these specific features to our extensions to make sure we're in good shape with this product. So this is like idea phase. Once we are ready with ideas, we need to evaluate them and understand like if it's only in our heads that we're helping our customers, or it's something real. And we need to understand what this specific feature is going how it's going to help our customers. So what are gains and what pains probably resolving. So once we try to understand it, it could be like customer development sessions when we're trying to show some mock-ups from design, saying, okay, do you think it like fits your purpose or not? It could be like from frequent user requests saying like it's very crucial for me to have this option. And then once we have like understanding of the value of the feature for the customers, we can start evaluating the efforts, what we need to invest to this specific feature or new extension. And once we understand possible like efforts here, we can combine it with value and understand what is better for our customers to have today. For example, if one feature has the same value than another one, and one worth like 3 days of development, and another worth like 3 months of development, like it's evident that we are going to select this one for 3 days, and like our customers can enjoy this product like in 2 weeks.
Right. Okay, that's good. Also, I remember that in the interview that you did a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned that all our products are going to be covered in MFTF and unit tests. So when does that happen?
Yeah, this happens usually during development phase. And it's very important to understand that it's not the first thing with what we are starting. So development phase usually starts with architecture. And we need to understand how we're going to develop this module before we start to write any code. So usually it could be architecture diagrams or like solution diagram or communication diagram with other modules. So it depends on the specific solution or what we're developing. Is it a specific feature or like module itself? And like modules are also different. It could be very sophisticated one or a simple and easy one, depending. We're going to provide some kind of solution, architecture solution. Based on this solution, we can understand better what possible issues we're going to handle. And based on it, we can resolve them even before we are starting writing the code. And using this architecture solution, we also can understand where is most suitable places for unit tests and how we can design MFTF tests to make them from one side very robust, from another side do not create thousands of these tests, what are going to take time for our users and ourselves, and it's going like to increase the value of the module from development perspective without any additional value for our customers.
Right.
So something like this way.
Okay, so let's say that we did the conception, we did the evaluation, the actual development, we covered everything in tests, and we're finally releasing the product to the market. So Is that it?
First, no, it's like it's a little bit early. Yeah. After we develop the product, we need to test it, right? So here we need to spend some time understanding like how a product performs. We can start from like if we already designed and created MFTF test, we can start like this doing automated testing. If it goes fine, then we are okay doing integration testing, make sure that everything works fine, and then for sure we can deliver it, like deploy, and make sure that our customers are ready to use it. Like, let's move aside like demo part and like representation part is like different part of this story. But let's imagine already delivered the product to our customers. And like for development team, it's probably that's it. But if we're talking about the product itself, is okay, we just born new product and just new life started, and we need to take a look carefully at what is going on. How our users like it, what do we see at the rating part, do we see any feedbacks from the support, maybe some claims, maybe some features are missing, and we rely on this feedback because if we do not have it, we don't know if anything is missing. If we know that something specifically like is missing or it works not like expected, it could be designed by our team one way, but customer from description can envision it differently. And we need to understand that it's not correlates. And based on this feedback, we are able to understand if new version is required. If there is no feedback, for sure, it doesn't mean that we're not going to do anything. We're going to see what's going on the e-commerce space. There are a lot of great companies, like probably not working with Magento itself, but what showing us like e-commerce trends, like Amazon, for example. And we can see how these specific customer goals are achieved by these huge companies and understand what is missing from our part. And if we're able to implement it using Magento, why not? So it will be way longer, but anyway, we're going to make it.
Okay, that makes sense. I think we should also mention that if we do get the feedback, which we hope we do, from our partners and clients, we usually tend to notify them about the new updates. So if you guys, want something specific, just email us and we'll make sure to get it back to you as soon as possible. And speaking of as soon as possible, Vitaly, I know that last year you initiated a couple of activities aimed at speeding up the response time and also the time to resolution. So can we talk about those a bit?
Yes, sure. And the most important achievement for the support department last year was to widen our working schedule. Yeah, for 9 years, Amasty offers 5 days a week and 9 to 5 schedule. And last year we extended it, and now we are available from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. GMT+3. And also, our next step was to remove the communication gap due to weekends and national holidays. Now our team is working on part-time during Saturdays, Sundays, as well as public and company holidays. With these and other activities, we reduced our average response time from 33 hours to 25. It is not perfect yet, but we are working on that.
Well, there's always some space for improvement.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Sergej, so I know that you have quite some background in effective customer care. So what do you think our next steps should be? I mean, do you and Vitaly have some grand plans for this year already?
Yeah, we already initiated several activities to make sure it happens. Because like year already started, so we also need to do something on this direction as well. And the plan is that the main metric for customer care is response time. Like imagine how do you like waiting anything. For example, like I hate it. Right? If you submit any type of claim anywhere, regardless, is it about like your gadget, is it like you're trying to do something and it doesn't work, you always hate waiting, and more it concerns you, more like you are frustrated and maybe even furious, like waiting extra hour. So for us, it should be main goal to make sure we're reducing this time. There could be different activities how we can make it. Like one way, what we're working on is how we can automate some activities to make sure there is faster response to the customers, taking account that we're even able to gather more information to help them. Like support specialists shouldn't do everything like manually. Some information could be prefetched based on the request. And like for this, we are already looking for specific tools, and we are working on the way how it could be designed and done. Another thing that you need to increase capacity of the team to make sure that they have time to respond properly, right? So it's another activity, is like not very fast, but we already initiated it and it's in progress. And this third way is to make sure that customer is able to help like oneself even before creating a request. It's a so-called self-help option, when you can select your module, select possibly nature of your problem, and we can, if it's like something what we understand is the usual troubleshooting steps, we can show this information in advance, and probably it's going to resolve your case even without submitting anything.
Right, so you don't have to wait at all.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so guys, we've talked a bit about the general process, but our audience today are our partners. So, Vitaly, how does the process differ for our partners versus our clients?
Our main goal is always the same, to deliver fast and high quality solutions. However, our partners, you're right, have some advantages. Let me explain. When we receive a ticket, it falls into a general queue. Every ticket in this queue has its own weight, and the higher the weight, the closer the ticket to the top. And also, now our partners have special accounts that, depending on the partnership level, has its own immediate weight. And also, our support managers pay their attention to their user group when they receive tickets and review it. So when we see a ticket from our partner and it has a higher weight, he will receive the reply as soon as possible. And also, that's why we always ask our partners to use their primary or master account. It will ensure you that you will get the response faster. And also, as I have already mentioned, there are some options like Slack and account and support managers, and I highly recommend to use these options to get the response as soon as possible. It will be much more faster than going for the support system.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So let's imagine there is an urgent question, right? So what can a partner or a client do to actually get the resolution faster?
The first one and the most important one, we will ask to update the extension to the latest version. Magento is not static, you know, And the same for our extensions. We released a lot of updates, and which include new features, new improvements, and that's why we will ask everyone to make sure that the extension version installed is the latest one. Otherwise, we will maybe reject the support request.
Okay. So let's say that they did update to the latest version and it didn't help. So what happens next?
We review all the issues locally, and if we cannot reproduce it, we will ask our customers to share access details without to the staging environment. If there is no such an option, we will ask for dumps. It will allow us to deploy the same environment on a local host and try to reproduce the same issue. We have strong and very strict security protocols which do not allow us to store any data. So that's why if you shared any data with us in a single ticket and we will ask you to do it in another one, please do it, because we we do not have any options to copy access detail from one ticket to another or use early provided credentials. Yeah.
Okay, that's an important
Yeah.
bit. Okay, so let's move further and say that our partner or client wants a response like immediately. What should they do? I mean, like, will sending another email help?
No, asking for updates hurts the queue. The thing is that our system works the way that every new reply to the ticket will be treated as a new request and a ticket will drop down the queue. So if there is some urgent cases, we ask our customers to use either live chat or Slack. We also update our queue every hour and it allows us to keep the queue actual. Yeah, so we know what we have to reply first. Yeah. So, however, also here are some cases that cannot be resolved within the support department. Yeah, yeah, and we always do our best to investigate all the issues. However, in some cases we can help. Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is important information.
Yes.
So I suggest that we talk about that a bit more. So are there any like generic cases where a customer can get a no-go reply from the support?
Yeah, there are some generic cases, and the first one and the most spread one is outdated support licenses.
Right.
Yeah, if it is a consultation or some kind of general question, all our support managers will do their best to try and help. However, if the case requires some investigation, additional development, we will be forced to ask to renew the license before proceeding with the help. Yes, and the second one, the case when we do not have any credentials or access details to the staging environment, and we do not have the environment where we can reproduce, review, and fix the issue. So it is a very important case as well. Yeah.
Okay. So, and what about the third-party solutions? As far as I remember, if there are third-party solutions involved that are actually causing the issue, like for instance, third-party themes, modules, integrations, customizations, is that also the case when we cannot provide the support, or?
If it is a known case and we have some workaround, we will share it with our customer. However, if we face the issue the first time, and the best way here, and our advice will be to contact the developer of the solution for the next steps. However, we also can offer some custom solutions. It means that our internal team will review all the needs and requirements of the customer and will deliver the solution that will work expected the customer needs.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, I think we are nearly wrapping up. So probably Sergej, just one last question to you. So can you already elaborate a bit more on what our plans are for Q1? Well, the rest of Q1, obviously, and also 2020 in general.
Okay, if we're talking about our plans in general, I would say it means more transparency. So if we're talking about the product direction, it means that all our partners and clients are able to see our plans at least 1 quarter in advance. So we have currently product roadmap publicly available, and you can see what we're doing and what we're planning to do. If we're talking about development, I would like to say that we are working to make our products more predictable. So it means like better coverage with unit tests, with MFTF tests, and like more strict guidelines on coding to make sure like we're following all requirements currently Magento has, or even probably will have in a while. If we're talking about support, I would say it means faster response, faster resolution time, and for sure, happy users.
That's right. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you both. That was real good, but I know we touched only like the tip of the iceberg, right? But we're that's a good start still. So that's definitely not going to be the last webinar that we do this way. So stay tuned. For now, I suggest that we transit to our Q&A session and give our viewers an opportunity to ask you guys some questions. So right now, please use the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen as usual. Type your questions in there. We will give you a couple of minutes to do that and get back to you real soon with good long answers, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys, we're back. So thank you all for your questions. There are quite a few of them. So we will start reviewing them one by one, and let's see where that leads us. Okay, so the first question is, what are the response reaction times for the 3 tiers? Vitaly, will you take that?
Oh, yeah, sure. The reaction and the response time for all the tiers, tier 1 is average first time response is 25 hours.
Right.
Yeah, for the tier 2 is about 25, 26 hours, yeah. And for the tier 3, it can take up to 2 days, yeah.
Okay. So I think then the next question is related. A question from my project manager. You say that your average response time is 25 hours. The question is why all responses to my tickets are 48 hours plus?
There are many factors that can affect the response time. For example, if you submit a ticket on Friday evening, it can be delayed due to the weekend. As I mentioned, we work on weekends. However, it is not a full team. There are some support managers who are responsible for the critical and some very urgent issues. So that's why we delay some tickets to the Monday, yeah, and start review all our queue starting from Monday morning. That's why there can be some delay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, then the next question is how we as your partner can get into your Slack. It's very easy actually. So as you probably know, there are 4 main levels in the partnership program. So the Slack option is available for gold and platinum options. So if that's something you would like to discuss with us, we're more than happy to do that. So let's do it after the webinar, okay? All right, so next question is, do you plan to keep developing an M1 extensions?
Yeah, let me take this.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure we are going to still support it, but taking account that life cycle of Magento 1 is going to its end and it's going to be a sunset this June, like I believe it's not the best option to invest development for. But anyway, we're going to support them. We are not going to stop selling them once they are like demanded among our customers. But once we see that like demand is going down, and like we just have like a lot of place we're showing them and frustrating some customers who like try to understand what they need to select and so on. Probably we are going gradually remove them and in a while also sunset our support program. But it's not going to happen like in the nearest future, right?
Okay, so basically putting it short, so we're going to support the M1 extensions, but we're not going to actually continue developing them, like delivering new features.
Exactly.
Great. Okay, so next question is, do you do load testing? What are the load limits that you use?
Okay, yeah, let me take this one as well.
Okay.
It's interesting one, and I took some time to investigate this because like I also was interested about like how make sure that every our module is like properly tested and we can guarantee to our customers specific like performance attributes, let's say this way. And like what I would like to say that not every module needs load testing. Some of them are more important than other things. It's very hard to say you can create just one profile and make sure that all your modules are working fine with it. Because if we're taking a look at the shipping modules, for them it's more important to have a lot of rules and make sure that profile contains different kind of rules, and like we use them very heavily to make sure it works correctly. If we're talking about like product labels, probably we're more interested in number of products. For some other modules, it could be a combination of several attributes, and we need to make sure that profile is prepared specifically to the module. And here we have another challenge to understand what is the typical profile of the shop, or what is going that is going to use this module. And we're trying to make this like mid-size shops, let's say this way, and make sure we even oversee number of like products rules for mid-size shop. But sometimes we see like specific cases of usage our modules, for example, with enterprise shops.
Right.
And then we mark such models as like heavy used and try to test them with very, very like heavy loaded profiles.
Okay, that makes sense. So then, next question is, how often do you release updates for a specific extension?
It depends, as we already discussed. It depends on the frequency of updates, what we're getting from support. It could be part of our roadmap and our plans to update this module, or it could be anything else, for example, new trends in the market. And we need to take into account like 3 of these directions to understand the frequency of the specific update or specific module. So basically what I would like to say, if you have some questions open for like specific module, please ask them like via support, via our business development team, or like any here, for example,
any other means,
any way you like, and see our product roadmap. So probably you are going to find some answers there.
Okay, great. So next question is, often my tickets close before I get the resolution. Why does that happen?
It's a very interesting story. What we recently found.
We made some research last month, and we noticed that a little amount of tickets are not opened by customers, so they do not see our replies. So now,
so you send the replies, but they do not see them. Okay.
We send the reply via our support system, and our customers get emails as a reply. However, we got some feedback that there is no resolution, no email from us, and the ticket is closed. So now our customers have a notification that the ticket will be closed in a day. So we asked all of our customers to reply us back in 3-4 days. Otherwise, the ticket will be automatically be closed.
Okay, great. So so it's important. I mean, if you've submitted a ticket and we're asking you something, just please reply, because that's affecting. Okay, so next question is, what is your professional background, Sergej?
Okay, it's a good one. I like such questions. Like you know, I started as a developer. I worked as a software developer like for 7 or even more years, because like some part of my career path, I combined the role of project manager and software developer. I worked for big outsourcing company, and we supported like internal solutions and solutions for our customers. And I started like as a developer for this solution. Then I was responsible for all internal solutions, like for supporting them. Then like I started doing more different project management stuff. Then I was responsible for functional department that were responsible for all this stuff. And it's part of the story. Another part of the story is like startup career. I tried myself as a startupper and spent like 4 years in a great rival with Uber. a company called Juno, and I was responsible for creating from scratch technical department first, like technical support department, and then I was responsible for special projects and operational part of our like R&D and like everything that interacts with our customers from R&D side. And now I'm here, like I have some business background, I have MBA education past, so like in short, in some
Okay.
words, that's it.
Okay, great. But if you have more questions, I think Sergey will be more than happy to answer them in private. So just email them, okay? All right. Next question is, how soon do you plan to release updates for Magento 2.3.4? And in general, how soon do you deliver compatibility for new versions of Magento?
Let me take this one. Dear customers and partners, I'm pleased to announce that we are supporting already Magento 2.3.4. We like, did our best to make it from the day one. Like I believe it was just one module what we delivered like several hours after official like upgrade of the system. So far, like we have an option to get the official Magento releases a little bit in advance. So we had several weeks to test all like particular cases and make sure that like our modules are working correctly with them.
So that's because we are Premier Magento extensions doing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so next question is, do you see a decrease of overall Magento customers in the past few years due to Magento 2?
I wouldn't say this way. I would say that Magento is getting more popular from year to year. If I take into account that Magento 1 plus Magento 2 customers, I would say that more customers from Magento 1 possibly started migration to Magento 2,
Yeah,
but there are coming more and more new customers. So like all analytic trends show that Magento 2 is very popular, probably like I believe because it's nature, like open source nature.
Yeah.
And we know that there are a lot of famous products that like worldwide popular that have this nature like Linux, Android. So probably Magento is going like to be the same.
Well, let's hope so.
At least for e-commerce.
Right. Okay, then now let's address the next one. Is it possible to provide a roadmap of future extensions to your partners so we know what is coming?
Okay, so it's interesting one. We're trying to make it in advance, just 1 quarter ahead, just to make sure we are able to satisfy and make sure we do what we promised to do. If we're taking account longer horizon, it could be different scenarios what can like make us take different decisions. And here, if you are interested in a specific module and its development, it's a good time to share your plans with us, and probably we can build this part of roadmap together if we see like mutual value of these updates.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. All right, so guys, we're running a bit out of time right now. So as far
Let's
as I
make
can,
the last one, and that's it.
okay, all right. So the last one is then, how will the MFTF work for the clients?
Okay, MFTF for the clients. I like this part because I'm fond of different kinds of automation. And MFTF part is exactly about automation. Like Magento has a great opportunity for our customers. I'm not sure if all of them are using it, but I encourage all of you guys to try it because it worth you nothing because it's already available out of the box. And Magento already providing more than 300 different tests, like for the Magento itself. So when you are running the system, you are able to check more than 300 different scenarios using automated tests, what are going like to use your WebDriver and see how it works as customer click these options. And this is like out of the box available. What we are doing with our extensions, we're delivering extended version of MFTF tests. So when we are doing something extra than Magento doesn't, like usually perform or do out of the box, we're trying to cover it with our MFTF part. So like buying the module and integrating to your site, you are able to run 300 general tests, common tests, plus, for example, 60 extra tests for specific module, or like 200 extra tests for specific module, just to make sure after integration, everything works smooth. And like, you don't need to wait for specific customer of yours to report an issue with a specific functionality. You're able just to run this test, wait, like it depends on the like performance of your website, number of tests, but like from several minutes to several hours, and be sure that everything works correctly and see a report if anything doesn't work.
Okay, great. Okay, we're really short of time. So thank you everyone again for being with us today. It's been a pleasure as usual. Thank you for sharing your questions. If you have any other questions that we haven't addressed yet, please email them either to your support manager or your account manager or to the support system, and we will make sure to address them. Meanwhile, thank you all for your time and have a really good day, and let's keep in touch. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.